Hey guys, it's Ken Maxfield, otherwise known as the Hide Guy. I am the owner and the editor-in-chief of the Maxfield Report, and this is our weekly global market recap for the week ending October the 30th. In the U.S. big Packer trade, the week started out with some of the Packers not having nearly as many hides for sale as they had the previous past few weeks, while others still had offer lists that still appeared to be fairly well populated. That said, it did reflect what appeared to be a decent week of sales, which was confirmed by the export report, which we'll touch upon here in just a few minutes. But overall, Packers entered this week appearing as if maybe they were feeling a little bit better about the market. Again, asking prices unchanged, but that said, that allowed Packers to draw a line in the sand this week because the week started off with bids that were deemed reasonable by some of the Packers, where other bids were deemed to be just too far out to lunch to even consider. So, long story short, fair number of bids this week, which encouraged a lot of people. Packers absolutely refusing to take any less. It appears as if there's a fair number of hides traded at steady with the week prior. There's a lot of people, including myself, leaning towards the opinion that maybe there's a trading plateau developing in this market for most selections, but the two selections that are still the jury's still out on, I should say, are native steers and butts, because those are items that go into the upholstery sector, and there's just a lot of questions still surrounding that segment of the business due to that global chip shortage. So as far as the number of hides sold last week, popular opinion is there were a decent number of hides sold. Probably not as many as the week prior, but at steady levels has given a lot of people hope that maybe there's better things ahead. Again, I want to make it clear, I'm not pontificating we're going to see higher prices, but it sure seems as if those who are known to come in and say, me too business are going to find out that they're not going to, they may have some trouble buying hides. So on the cow hides, similar situation. Producers, entered the week. A period of maybe some of their sold position had wore away here the last 3 weeks. But again, there was a decent number of people out in the parking lot kicking tires. I think, again, not as many as last week, but it looks like there's a decent number of hides sold in between the buyers and sellers. Of course, people being buyers coming in at really aggressive levels, we're finding producers to have no interest in talking to them. So it does have a little better feel to it as we head into this coming week. As far as the knock last week, it comes in at 668,000. That is the second largest of the year. That compares to 661 last week, 640 the year prior. We are up 3.2%. It's like about 830,000 animals over last year. And with the money that Packers are making and some of the smaller expansions by people and a couple smaller packing houses coming online this fall, it's very evident that we're going to probably finish somewhere around 3.5%, probably get it even close to 900,000 over last year. And then remember, next year there's a couple of big new packing houses coming online. One comes to mind is the JBS plant out at Grand Island, where they're building a brand new facility, and that's going to be very close to being, I believe, once it's completed, will be the second largest packing house in the United States. So keep that in mind. Excuse me. As far as the export report last week, as I touched upon it earlier, sales of 557,000 wet salted hides were about 140 better than the week prior. Sales of wet blue at 212 were about 70,000 better than the week prior. So total combined sales 770,000. That's the fourth largest of the year. Everybody was on the same page, I should say, that was thinking that we were going to see a pretty good week of sales, and we did. So shipments, a little disappointing, to be honest with you. 405,000 wet salted. That's down about 70,000 from the week prior. Wet blue shipments at 125. That's down 100. So the 530, that's not, total combined sales. It is almost identical to what we averaged for the third quarter, but, as we've been talking about for quite some time now, we could use some huge weeks of sales to help alleviate some of this situation at the packing house, get people their hides that they're wanting, but that's just very slow in coming to fruition. So going around the globe, our friends in Europe tell us that things are difficult there, especially for those who sell hides to the automotive trade. They're seeing a lot of the automotive tanners cut soaks. That's a huge problem in Europe because a lot of those hides are sold fresh. So a lot of producers are being forced to salt hides or find alternative buyers for those. Not an easy task. It's causing prices to move lower. Europe usually trails our market by 3 to 4 weeks. So, it'll be interesting to see with us appearing as if we're hitting a trading plateau here in the States as to how long it takes for Europe to see something similar. Down in Brazil, the harvest levels remain at muted levels due to the Chinese ban on Brazilian beef exports. That's got slaughter levels somewhere running half to 30% of a year ago, depending on who you talk to. The good news is that's helping to keep fresh hides from spiraling down quickly, off maybe a penny or two. Wet blue, things are starting to be a little bit more difficult for people to sell. Reports have taken a couple of cents down on TR1s, and we're also told that interest on TR2s and TR3s the last 2-3 weeks has been fairly non-existent, and inventories are building up there. Over in Australia, our friends tell us that they're continuing, to see downward pressure in their market. That's in spite of harvest levels that are running below levels of a year ago. Live cattle prices remain at all-time record levels in Australia. They're just getting back to work from their COVID shutdown. So we'll see a few more animals probably coming through in the next coming weeks. But again, with the situation set that it is with high cattle prices, beef demand, okay, but they don't want to pay any more for the beef because the U.S. beef is coming in at levels that's very competitive. So packers in Australia are having a difficult time and are losing money, where in the U.S. they're actually making $500-600 a head. So kind of a totally different situation, but prices are lower in Australia too. As far as what's going to happen next week, that, my friends, go out to the website, www.themaxfieldreport.com. Scroll down the bottom of the page, request a sample report. I'll send you a copy of both my daily report, my world report. Take a look at the information I can give you. Compare it to other reports if you subscribe. I don't think there's a comparison. Of course, I'm biased. You do your diligence. If you find out that you can't live without those reports, reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you about a new membership. Heck, I'll even tack on the remaining membership that you have from another report once you pay. That's how confident I am that you're going to like what you see. So that's it for now. Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. Until next week.